Mr. Othniel, good morning to you as well. Good morning, good morning. Okay. It's another morning. There we go. All right. Save. There we go. Okay. Today I'm going to talk about something different besides the Ashanti people. But we should be expecting something quite interesting this weekend or early next week. Decided to focus on some stuff like you have on my screen here. I'm going to take this book that a lot of people have on their shelves, and I'm going to do a critical review on the assertions made in the book about particularly the Ashanti people. So you should see a video coming out, a premiere. I'm debating whether to actually do it live or to record and then have it on the screen, premiere it, or just come online and then talk about it. But it's something that you don't want to miss. We're going to do a critical review. Most of the time, we take what is written in such books at face value. Most of the time, we are removed away from the culture, the language, the customs, the traditions. So it sounds good. It sounds very good when somebody is reading from a book like this. But then, if you're familiar with what the person is speaking on, talking about, it's a bit different. So, yeah, we'll be tackling this sometime this week. But today I want to talk about something different. I want to actually focus on this topic of the Ark of the Covenant. It's this box. I want to call it a box. This box has intrigued a lot of people. Movies have been made around it. A lot of theories, conspiracy theories, and it's quite interesting. Studying about the Ark. I remember when I was in school, college, studying about the Ark. I had my painted anime thoughts on it, but after a critical look at it, it doesn't seem to be what it's portrayed to be. Now, I want to explain the hashtag We the North on the screen. We hold to the fact that we come from the northern kingdom of Israel, not the southern kingdom of Judah. And the facts on the ground states that the northern kingdom, and then the southern kingdom were two separate Hebrew kingdoms. They were never united as one. The only time that we can speak about a united monarchy was either when the south was a vassal to the north probably ruled over the south a couple of times, or when the north fell to the Assyrians, and then we had a huge migration from the north down south, then you can even think about talking about a united monarchy with Judah being the rulers. Okay, so a united monarchy with Judah's king ruling over the entire entity. You can only say that after the north was lost to the Assyrians and you had the whole migration coming from the north to the south. So this is what the history states. Not what we've been programmed to believe. I must say. Okay. So before we talk about this ark, I want to paint this picture for you. When we go to the book of Numbers, we have a very interesting picture that it's painted here. Numbers 10. It says, so they set out from the mount of Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh 3 days' journey. And the ark of the covenant of Yahweh went before them 3 days' journey to seek out a resting place for them. And the cloud of Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh was over them by day whenever they set out from the camp. And whenever the ark set out, Moshe said, arise, O Yahweh, and let your enemies be scattered, and let those who hate you flee before you. And when it rested, he said, return, O Yahweh, to the 10,000 thousands of Israel. Now, when you picture what is happening here, it gives the impression that the deity, Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, is locked in this ark, this box, right? You don't get the impression of a deity that is in the sky. A deity, the deity as we have it today, he's in the sky. But originally, that was not the idea. That was not the thought. This deity is housed in this box that we call the Ark of the Covenant. And mind you, the Ark of the Covenant that was in the north did not have gold plates. It didn't have two cherubims on it. By the way, the oral tradition makes the cherubims babies, children. Okay. So what we have here in Numbers 10 is a deity who is housed in a box. When you open it, Yahweh comes out of this box. And when you close it, Yahweh comes back. And what this does is that it shapes a tangible presence of the deity. This deity is not housed in the sky. No, so picture that. They go to battle and they have this box. And then when Moshe says, arise, O Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, and let your enemies be scattered. He comes out of this box. Moshe would instruct the deity to return. Says, return, O Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, to the 10,000s of Israel. So now you see a picture that is painted, which is different from what we believe now. That is why I had a series titled How Yud He Vav He Became God. A lot of people did not understand it. I wasn't saying that he wasn't God from the beginning, but he was God from the beginning. But he was not the God that we see him to be today. He was localized. He was not omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. You don't have that in biblical Israel, in the ancient Near East. That was a foreign thought. So this is very interesting, how the deity is depicted here. So we chose to take a liking to the ark and investigate what this ark is. And we would find out that it's not what we think it is. We would find out that we have different accounts of the description of this ark. Which one is accurate? Which one is the more recent one? Which one is the oldest? We'll look at all of that in this session. So, the ark within and beyond the Hebrew scriptures. We're not only going to focus on the ark in the Hebrew scriptures, we're going to go outside, we're going to subscribe to extra biblical sources to discover what we see about this ark. So, the Ark of the Covenant, as I mentioned in my intro, holds a significant historical and cultural fascination. It's a symbol that has inspired various forms of artistic representation, including paintings and even Hollywood movies. You've watched Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? Okay. Now, the mystery surrounding the fate of the ark after it's introduced into the Temple of Jerusalem by the supposed King Solomon, as well as its potential relocation to Ethiopia or its capture by the Babylonians, adds to this enigmatic allure. What actually happened to the ark? Was it relocated to Ethiopia? Was it captured by the Babylonians, who introduced the ark into the temple in Jerusalem? Was it King Solomon? Or did David bring it to Jerusalem and placed it in a temple that was already standing there? The Jerusalem before King David? The temple of the Jebusites? No. So we have this cloud around this ark, right? Additionally, not only do we have a cloud around the ark, the content of the ark also remains a subject of interest and speculation. While it is traditionally associated with the 2 tablets of the law, there are indications in certain texts that suggest the presence of something else. Okay. Most people think that originally the ark contained the 2 tablets of the law, but that is not the case, because when you read the text, it says that there was nothing in the ark but the 2 tablets. The reason why it says that is because previously there was something in the ark that the 2 tablets replaced. Okay. So for the text to tell us that there was nothing in the ark, we did not ask if there was something in the ark, but you chose to tell us that, hey, by the way, there was nothing in the ark but the 2 tablets of stones that they gave to Moshe. No, but there's something in the ark, or there was something in the ark prior to that. It was replaced by the 2 tablets of the law. No. So, yes, we have the 2 tablets, as people say, that was originally in the ark, which is not accurate. But there are indications in certain texts, we'll look at those texts as we go on this series, that suggest the presence of something else. sparking curiosity about its actual content, and perhaps leading to that imaginative interpretation that the ark may have contained electricity, the presence of electricity. Like I said, we have a whole boatload of interpretations, this mystery that shrouds the ark. But we're going to decode it and give you the ark as it was in the Northern Kingdom, and then how it changed when it comes into the Southern Kingdom. All right. Now, I keep saying ark, ark, ark. But before delving into the investigation, it's essential to understand the origins and meanings behind the term ark. When we say ark, it has a couple of meanings. Now, if you look in the English Bibles, even if you look in the French Bibles, there are two distinct arks. You have the Ark of Noah, Noah's Ark, and then you have the Ark of the Covenant. You have these two arks. Now, when we say ark, the meaning stems from the Latin translation, that is the Vulgate, St. Jerome's tradition. This is where it stems from, which utilized the term ark, which could mean furniture, it could mean a cupboard, it could mean a box, it could mean a chest, it could mean a coffin, it could mean a kirk, a beer kirk. When you say ark, it has all these meanings. And it's coming from the Latin Vulgate, St. Jerome's tradition. So it's pretty much where we store something. And it uses the term ark to translate two Hebrew words. Noah's Ark and then the Ark of Covenant. They are not the same Hebrew words. Latin Vulgate uses the term ark to translate in the Hebrew. When you look at Noah's Ark, it's teva. The Hebrew term for Noah's Ark is teva, which can also refer to the little box in which Moshe's mother placed him after that so now they may have Egyptian origins. And it's believed that it's it's being derived from a word signifying a sanctuary, or more likely a chest. So research shows that it has, it could be, or it could have been derived from Egypt, or it has Egyptian origins. Now, this connection to Egypt, language, and culture is supported when we compare it to Mesopotamian text, which does not use the term ark or teva. It used the word ilipo to describe the boat that survived the flood. So we see that the word teva in the Hebrew is not coming from Mesopotamia. It's coming pretty likely from Egypt. So the Mesopotamian text comes from a different tradition. It indicates a distinct naming tradition. But the teva in Hebrew is pretty close to having Egyptian origins. No, it's debated, but that is what it is suggested. So this is the Teva. This is an ark. We're talking about Noah's ark. It is not the same as the Ark of the Covenant, even though it uses the same word ark. The Ark of the Covenant is Aaron, not Aaron or Aaron. It sounds alike, but the second ark, that is the Ark of the Covenant, is referred to as Aaron, which also conveys the meaning of a chest or box. Now, while the exact original meaning or origin of this term is not fully known, it is noteworthy that Aaron bears resemblance to the name of Moshe's brother Aaron, or Aaron as we say it in English. So it bears a similarity, it bears resemblance. Some even speculate that the name Aaron, which is the ark, might be linked to Aaron, akin to how the H was added to Abraham's name. He was Abram, and then he became Abraham. So some people speculate that, Aaron, which is the ark, might be linked to Aaron, akin to how the H was added to Abraham's name. However, this speculation delves on the scope of this exploration. Okay, so we will not tackle it in this series, but we see two arks: the Ark of the Covenant, which is called Aaron in the Hebrew. Noah, the flood, is the same word used for two. Aaron, the word for the Ark of Noah is Teva. Two different arks, but the Latin Vulgate uses ark to represent these two devices. Okay. Now, this word Aaron, the Ark of the Covenant, the term appears or is prominently featured in the biblical text. It appears over 200 times, with the majority of references tied to the famous Ark of the Covenant. So when you hear the word ark, when you see the word ark in the biblical text, it appears a lot of the time, but majority of it, it's referencing this famous Ark of the Covenant. Okay. There are two notable exceptions, though. The first exception is found at the end of the book of Genesis, where the term is used to describe the coffin in which Joseph, after his death, is embalmed and placed in Egypt. I'll repeat that again. The term Aaron, Ark, is prominently featured in the biblical text. It appears over 200 times, with the majority of references tied to the famous Ark of the Covenant. However, there are two notable exceptions. The first exception is found at the end of the book of Genesis, where the term is used to describe the coffin in which Joseph, after his death, is embalmed and placed in Egypt. When you go to Genesis 50, we see that. It says, "Then Joseph made the sons of Israel swear, saying, God will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones from here." So Joseph died being 110 years old. They embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin. The word there is Aaron. in Egypt. So we have this set here. We see that term ark or Aaron appear in the book of Genesis, but is referring to a coffin. When we come to the book of Kings, 2 Kings 12, it's used again. And whenever they saw that there was much money in the chest, so the chest here is Aaron, but it's not referring to the Ark of the Covenant, but the same word is used to represent this box that they kept money in. You have the same thing in 2 Chronicles 24. So the king commanded, and they made a chest and set it. Okay. And they were dropping taxes. They brought their taxes and dropped it into the chest. The same Hebrew word is used here, Aaron. That is why I said that the term is predominantly used in the biblical text. And when it's used, majority of the time, it refers to the famous ark. But there are two notable exceptions, which I've just showed you. The first exception is found at the end of the book of Genesis, where the term is used to describe the coffin in which Joseph, after his death, is embalmed in and placed in Egypt. And then the other exception is mentioned in 2 Kings 12 and parallel in 2 Chronicles 24, where it signifies a trunk or box for storing the money designated for the renovation of the temple. Okay. So, despite these exceptions, the term Aaron consistently refers to the ark in most contexts. It refers to the Ark of the Covenant, to be specific, in most contexts. What you should know as well is that there are two distinct perspectives of the ark. You have the Greek story of the ark, and then you have the Hebrew story of the ark. So the Greek translation, which is the Septuagint, also plays a significant role in the history of the ark. So this translation represents not only the Hebrew narrative, but also introduces a distinct Greek perspective. So in this narrative of the ark, we have the Hebrew story and we have the Greek story, contributing to the multifaceted nature of the ark's historical account. We're going to look at both of them. We'll look at the Greek story, we'll look at the Hebrew story. So this is just an introduction, so we won't sweat it too much here. But the Ark of the Covenant is known by various titles. It's called the Ark, Aaron. It's called the Ark of Yahweh, Aaron Yahweh. It's called the Ark of God, which is Aaron Elohim. It's called the Ark of the God of Israel, Aaron Elohe Yisrael. It's called the Ark of the Testimony, Aaron Edut. It's called the Ark of the Covenant, Aaron Berit HaBrit. It's called the Ark of the Covenant of Yahweh, of armies that sit on the cherubim. Aaron Berit Yahweh Sabwat, Yosef HaKerubim. So he's the one that sits. You see those two angels? We'll look at those two angels of the covenant of Yahweh. Aaron Berit Yahweh is called the Holy Ark, Aaron HaKodesh. So as you can see, there is a number of diverse terms when addressing this box. When examining the Greek text, it becomes evident that it often employs different terms than those found in the Masoretic text. For instance, instead of the Ark of Yahweh, the Greek text may use the Ark of Elohim and vice versa. See, so these are all the names that you find the ark being addressed as or addressed by. Why the different designations? And I'm telling you, there is a Greek story and then there is a Hebrew story. And I'm also showing you that in the Greek Septuagint, they use different terms. They employ different terms than those found in the Masoretic text. But it's important to note that the ancient names for the ark may have been just the ark, or the ark of the divine, or the ark of Yahweh. These may have been the original designation of this box that we are interested in, and this box that we will be spending quite some time finding out what it really is. So this was just a quick one. This was a quick one to show what this box is. This box that we are going to be focusing on, what it is, why it's there, what it looks like, and then we're going to delve into it. You'll be amazed what you really think you know about the ark and you really don't know. It's going to blow your mind because the familiar picture that we have about the ark, gold-plated, 2 cherubims on it, with the deity speaking between the angels, the wings of the angels, came later. That is a southern tradition. That is a Judahite tradition. But the ark in the north did not look anything like you are familiar with today. It wasn't gold-plated. It did not have 2 cherubims on top of it. And it had something inside of it. And it's not the 2 tablets of the law. Okay. So we'll be looking at that. We'll be looking at that throughout our series or our discussion. Okay. Awesome. Let me do this here. So there we have it. Today I got on a bit late, so I was not able to share the link for anybody who wants to come on, but I have about 10 minutes to spare and then I'm out of here. So if you want to come up and say hello before I leave, you can do that. But don't forget, as I said, we are going to be looking at this right here. Oop, don't take it out. There we go. We're going to be looking at this. You should expect a premiere. I'm going to take this favorite book of almost every Hebrew Israelite in the West, and some also on the continent of West Africa. Some people subscribe to this book. Some people use this book as their source, to push a certain kind of narrative. I don't think anybody has really done a critical analysis of this book. Somebody who knows the culture the traditions, the customs that this book actually deals with. And I think I want to take a peek at it. Like I said, just last week is when I started reading this book. I did not even know that I had a copy in my library. I was looking for this book on Kabbalah, and I was looking at this book on Kabbalah, and then it showed up on my on my shelf. So I opened. I was like, "Oh boy, yeah! I remember who sent me this book. Bought me a copy." Mr. Theodore, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. How you doing?
My mic, my sound here on mute. Mr. Theodore, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you now. I had my sound on mute. Apologies.
How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing well. A lot of working, but I noticed that you went live on YouTube, and so while I'm driving, I was decided to tune in.
Ah, awesome, awesome. Off to work?
Yes, just dropped off a friend at work actually, and I'm going back to finish some baking with
Ooh,
cheesecake and stuff. So
I like bacon.
yeah.
Make some
So
scones and stuff. That's good, good,
say
good.
it again. But yeah, I was just popped in just to say hello. That's all.
Oh,
Um,
great, great, great.
Looking forward to tune in. Thought the Ark of the Covenant is a very interesting topic for me, and so it's cool that I caught it at this time and that you're going into it. So yeah, trying to get
Definitely.
back into some deeper studies that I was doing at first. So
That is great. That is great. Yes, we'll cover it into details. We'll not leave any stone unturned. We'll just, this today was just an intro, just to break the ice, and
okay, cool, cool.
show where
I
we
will
are
be
going.
looking forward to it.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, every Thursday I'll be on. I might make it like twice a week, maybe Thursday morning, Friday morning. Thursday morning I'll talk about the Ark of the Covenant, and then maybe Friday I'll talk about the Hebrew customs, traditions, all of that stuff. So
Okay, good, good. I'm gonna have to go back and watch some other videos and lessons. I've missed basically the whole series. We are the North.
oh
um,
boy.
I missed that whole thing, and I hate that I did. But I'm gonna go back and, like I said, while I'm driving and doing stuff, I'll do that and just listen and take notes. And I might, I don't know, hit you up and bring up some ideas or thoughts or ask questions or something. So, yeah.
Anytime, anytime. You can even send me a text message with your questions. I would bring it up, would answer them. Not a problem at all.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Well, it's good to see that you're doing well.
Thank you. Same to you. It's good to hear from you.
Mhm.
Awesome. Well, so yes, look forward to our, yes, I'll do Thursday and Friday. Thursday and Friday. Thursday we'll do the Ark of the Covenant. Friday we'll look at these Hebrew customs, Hebrew traditions. You know, we'll I want us to re-examine those arguments that we've had for so long, since time immemorial, about what makes us Hebrew, our sources, and let's keep it critical, because there's so much dogma that anything that looks, for example, the guy who was wearing the breastplate, everybody focuses on the 12 divisions on the plate, and nobody knew what it meant, who it was, the people who were standing on the raft. It's all, oh, look at the breastplate. He's Hebrew. But you will notice the arguments that I'm going to start making. using the same methods that is used to say that he's Hebrew, I'm going to use the same method, and we would see that I'll come to a different conclusion. And I'm doing that intentionally to show how dangerous the methods that is being used to say that this person is this person is Hebrew, this person is not. And you see how dangerous it becomes. But that is my goal. I'm not saying that your claims are false or wrong. I'm saying that, okay, I want to get critical. Prove me, because all the proof texts, all the sources that you've given me, all the proof that you're saying that this shows that we're Hebrew, if we put it under a critical lens, would it stand? I bet you most of it will not. And there is a generation coming that are not moved by this our pseudo scholarship. They want to be more critical. Well, I'll talk about the circles that I am in, the circles that I belong to. You cannot show up and talk about Deuteronomy 28. You cannot show up and talk about, these are the things that we talk about, like this picture that I discussed for the past 2 weeks. You cannot just use that to say, look, he's wearing a breastplate. It means that the Ashantis are Hebrews. Not at all. It will not fly in the circles that I belong to, because they require more critical academic scholarship, even when it comes to the biblical text. So we have to come to a place where we are being critical, where there's no dogma, where we hold no biases, and examine the text, examine the claims, and then call which ones we need to call out. Call which ones we need to call out and say, hey, this doesn't hold water. Those that are just traditions, those that are just oral traditions that say that, hey, we are Hebrews, we acknowledge them as such, oral traditions. But then if we take these oral traditions and then we put them under the lens of critical thinking, critical scholarship, will they hold? If they don't hold, can we come up with critical analysis? Can we come up with historical data that shows that we are who we say we are? And that is where we are moving to. You may not be ready for it, but that is where we are moving to. So yes, I'm looking forward, to dialogue. Mr. Theodore, you want to comment?
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm looking forward to that. Definitely ready for that because, as you know, as being a pastor, also a person who teaches and leads myself, I want to make sure that what I'm teaching is accurate. I've heard a lot of things over the years, and I've always thought differently. I was even raised up differently, and so coming across your teachings and the way you approach the scriptures and stuff, even using extra biblical and historical, facts and things of that nature, linguistics, all of that, that fits me because I'm in a area where, or we're in a generation. I'm 32, and a lot of people who are coming up after me are looking for facts. They're looking for truth. They're looking for understanding. They don't want somebody's tradition. I mean, I remember there was one lesson you said, and there was a statement, and it stuck with me. That said, tradition should lead to truth, not tradition to tradition. And so you had stated that a while
Correct.
ago, and that stuck with me for ever since. And so I hold to that faithfully. That's what leads me to make sure that what I'm teaching is proper, that is true, that it can be verified, if you want to say, and not just somebody's own
Correct.
belief.
That's it. And that's what all teachers should do. We have to let our search for truth be truthful. It may sound good. It may sound so much as a confirmation to what we believe, but it shouldn't make it automatic that, oh, because I subscribe to this and this confirms or validates my position, makes it true. No, you should ask critical questions. And if it doesn't, if it challenges or if it contradicts what you believe, it's okay. Nothing wrong with that. It's okay. Let's move on. Let's see. So, that is the goal. That is the goal. Let's keep it scholarly. Let's keep it critical. Let's keep it honest. Martha Rose, can you go ahead? Can you unmute and say hello to us? You are muted. Oh, I like your picture here. I see those gold on the guy's hands. And beautiful. Oh, Martha Rose, I cannot hear you. You are muted. Or maybe you don't want to say anything. Okay, not a problem. But yes, let's look forward to. I am looking forward to this one here because I'm going to say a lot of things. You see, I wouldn't spoil it. I wouldn't spoil it. I'll leave it. I'll leave it. But reading this book, knowing the customs and the culture, I'm asking why? Why are certain things missing from it? You know, he covers a lot of things about the Ashanti, but I want to focus on what he did not cover that are extremely critical. You know, so that's the approach that I'm taking with this peer review. When I say peer review, I'm not saying that I'm his peer. I'm just using the term that going to review the assertions made in this book. I think chapters 1 and 2, where it talks about the Ashanti people. So, and then don't forget, we'll be doing our series, We the North series. Where is it? Yeah, we'll be on Thursday. We'll talk about We the North. That is the Ark of the Covenant. When I say we, then I've said we then not so much that it's stuck on my tongue. But we're doing on Thursday the Ark of the Covenant, a critical look. We're going to look at all the details of it. And then on Fridays, we are going to be focusing on Hebrew stuff, Hebrew customs, traditions. We'll look at all the claims that are being made. And then we would see which ones that we can give a thumbs up, which ones we can give a thumbs down. You know? And what's the idea? Yes, we are Hebrews, but the arguments that we are making will not hold in a setting of critical thinkers, in a setting of critical scholarship. So we need to up our game. And I think it's the time. So let's challenge everything that we've taught, see whether it would hold. I think that's a great mark of a teacher. This is what I presented. Now, let me change my lenses and then let me critique what I presented from a critical perspective. How does it hold? Does it hold at all? That's what we're going to do. All right, my time is spent. I'm going to ask leave of you guys. Hope you enjoyed the material. I will see you tomorrow. Okay. Shalom to all. Mr. Theodore, thank you for your time as well. Thank you for hopping on. Shalom.